All right, welcome back. It's a Money Monday edition of Liquid Lunch on Biz TV. Gary Goldman's a great friend. He's on the show with us all the time. He knows a heck of a lot about business and politics, and he's kind of cool cat too, so he knows a little about lifestyles, and you got to check him out. He's a great guy for us on a Money Monday. We're also going to have a whole slew of money guests. Michael Dougherty's going to be here a little later on. Fernando Uribe joins us every single Monday. And Brian Boyd, 30-year professional intelligence analyst, counterterrorism specialist, is going to be talking about Mary Trump's book, this crazy niece of Donald Trump. He's also going to be talking about Bolton's book and how crappy it's doing in the upcoming presidential election. Now, I have been exposing myself to a significant amount of work and research, which I don't usually do. I usually do very little. Frank, Nico, Jess, they do all the work, and then I kind of just slip in right here at the last minute and read from notes and make believe I did all the work. I have been reading, researching, fact-checking, double-checking, going down rabbit holes on all of this crazy Pizzagate stuff, and I'll encourage you again to watch this movie, Out of Shadows. It's an hour and 15 minutes. It's a couple of real Hollywood insiders and an FBI agent, a former CIA agent, and one of the most reputable reporters around until she started reporting on Pizzagate. Now, the mainstream media, which I have uncovered, has a direct connection to the Central Intelligence Agency. So the biggest Hollywood studios and the biggest TV station, the biggest music makers, they're all connected directly to the CIA through the Office of Hollywood Entertainment Engagement. So there is an office in the CIA that directly corresponds with the major studios in Hollywood to create propaganda through movies, music, and television to program our brains. This is a fact. This is not me, but check out of Shadows, okay? So when the words Pizzagate first came out, the mainstream media wiped this off the table as, come on already, is Hillary Clinton really trafficking children in the basement of a pizzeria in Washington, D.C., Comet Pizza and Ping Pong? It's so crazy, there's not even a basement in the building. That's how they chose to manipulate the narrative into saying, come on, they're not running a child ring out of a pizzeria. I have been doing some deep dive on this stuff. If you go to the FBI website itself, when the FBI runs online operations to catch pedophiles and people who are perpetrating child porn, they have learned a code that they use. And pizza is girl, okay? And hot dog is boy. And, you know, there's other terms that are even more disgusting. You can't believe it. But anyhow, I'm looking further and further at this, and it's sure starting to look like the global elite class has some sort of occult where, I don't know if it's Satan worship, but there is a lot of evidence of that. And there's a whole, group of people out there who believe there should be two classes in the world, the elites and the rest of us. There's a group of people out there that there is a growing concern that they are engaged in extracting bodily fluids and bodily parts from young kids to make themselves feel better, stay younger, and they're taking adrenochrome from the adrenal gland in people, and they have to heighten the fear to get the most potent adrenochrome out of them, and then they inject it into other people who are rich and famous and all this. This is all out there, and this is like fact. It's like backed up by backed up by backed up, okay? I want to get just a little crazier for you today. So, as we all know, this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, seems to have been one of the kingpins of luring in rich, famous, influential people to this crazy cult, and he was actually convicted of, child rape and other sex crimes. He had to enlist as a sexual predator. Now, let me ask you this. I don't care how much money the guy has, okay? If you know this guy has been arrested and pled guilty to child sex, okay, would you go on his plane? I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want people to say, why is JT hanging out with this wacko? Okay? Then on top of it, and this isn't like conspiracy theory, he pled guilty to soliciting a child for sex. Okay? He pled guilty. He was registered as a sex offender. He got some sweet deal because there's a lot of anecdotal evidence out there that Jeffrey Epstein was actually an asset for foreign intelligence, like AKA Mossad. And his sidekick, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's supposedly been flagged as the madam who recruited all these young kids into this crazy wacko's lifestyle. And they brought all these kids to the island and they flew everybody to the island. If you look at the manifest, you go nuts. But, okay. Lo and behold, a few years ago, Joe Biden said he was the poorest senator in the U.S. Senate. Okay, when he left office as vice president, his stated net worth was between $400,000 and $1 million. Today, as he runs for president, 6 years later, 5 years later, he's worth upwards of $10 million. Now, how do you go from $400,000 to $10 million in just a few years? Well, you got a brother who's a lobbyist, who puts together all kinds of deals, and he gets paid off. And lo and behold, he buys an island. Okay, so Joe Biden's brother, and I got the citation here, the story is, this is factual. In 2005, Joe Biden's brother bought an acre of land with ocean views on a remote island in the Caribbean for $150,000. Okay, and then later, a Washington lobbyist bought one of the 3 plots from James Biden, Joe's brother, for $150,000. So what does that tell you? Well, there was 2 lots left, and they got them for free because the lobbyist bought one for $150,000, what they paid for all 3. I do a little more digging, and what do I find out? The island where Joe Biden's brother James bought was an island called Water Island. Water Island. It's in the Virgin Islands, okay? And a little further research tells me that, guess what? Lo and behold, Water Island is just a stone's throw away from Epstein Island, 8 miles to be exact, okay? And if you want to get really freaky, guess what Water Island used to be way back when in the Second World War? It was a U.S. submarine base. So they had a whole submarine base, and they keep submarines there, and Joe Biden and his brother own this property that just happens to be right on top of the submarine base. So could it be, this is where we go deep, okay, could it be that Joe Biden never flew to Epstein Island? Another thing, strange, right? Could it be that Joe was flying over to Water Island and then go down the stairs to the bottom there, and then they send over Ghislaine Maxwell with the Epstein submarine to pick him up and then take him back over to the island, loaded up with kids in terror and fear? I don't know. But here's a little something about Ghislaine Maxwell from a few years ago when she gave a great speech. Watch what they introduce her as.
Stage here we have Ghislaine Maxwell, founder and president of the Terra Mar Project, a nonprofit whose mission is to create a global ocean community to protect and promote sustainable development of the ocean. Ghislaine is easily one of the smartest, most fascinating people I've ever met. This is proven by the fact that she holds a bachelor's and master's degree from Oxford University, is a private helicopter pilot, a trained EMT, a qualified ROV, which I had to look up what that was, and a deep worker submarine pilot.